What's going on, guys? It's your boy Randy with On Edge TV, and today we're talking about the LUMIX S5iiX. Let's get it. So why did I choose this camera over something like the A7 IV? Well, the A7 IV was actually at the top of my list on cameras to get. I needed a solid B cam to my Blackmagic and something I can use every day, like an everyday camera, because using the Blackmagic every day is crazy. But I needed something quick and something easy to take around. And I was looking at Sony because I am a former Sony user. I was using Sony before I went Blackmagic. But Panasonic dropped the S5 II, and then they announced the S5 iiX, and I was like, yeah, maybe I should look into a new camera body and see what it's all about. One of the main reasons why I chose this camera over the Sony A7 IV was because 6K open gate. Now, to me, 6K open gate is a big plus for me, especially when I'm coming from the Blackmagic. I'm shooting 6K already, and I can easily match resolution with my 6K, Blackmagic 6K, and this camera. It has 6K open gate is a game changer for me because a lot of our clients, we have to shoot vertical and horizontal at the same time. And with 6K open gate, you can do that. Now, there's ways to get around it where you shoot wide and crop in later, but sometimes you can't always get that wide. So you kind of have to shoot, what it is, either vertical or horizontal. You have to make that decision. But a lot of times we have to deliver horizontal and vertical footage to our clients. So this was a no-brainer for me. This was definitely one of the main reasons why I went with this camera over the A7 IV. And another reason is because I'm already a Blackmagic user, and my main camera for a lot of interview stuff is, I use my Blackmagic as my A cam because I just love how Blackmagic looks, especially with skin tones. But the second reason why I decided this camera over something else was because it can output Blackmagic RAW with the Blackmagic Assist. I don't have the Assist yet, but the fact that I can use this as a solid B camera, match it with my Blackmagic, and shoot B-RAW on both cameras is a plus for me. Now, mind you, a lot of these reasons is my personal experience. If you are already in the Sony ecosystem, definitely go with Sony because G-Master lenses are expensive. And if you've already invested in Sony glass, then definitely go Sony and stay with Sony, in my opinion. Now, the last reason, it's not a big deal to others, but it's not really that big deal to me, but it shoots shutter angle. You could choose between shutter speed and shutter angle. And if you don't know what shutter angle is, it's basically if you set your shutter angle at 180, then you're always following that 180-degree rule with your shutter speed. For example, if you're shooting 24 frames per second, you want your shutter speed to double your frame rate and be 25. If you're shooting 60, then your shutter speed would be 120 and so on. So when you're shooting shutter angle, you pretty much eliminate the math. You just leave your shutter angle at 180 and it will always have that 180 rule. And with cinema cameras, you can shoot shutter angle. And I think this camera has a lot of cinema features, like cinema camera features that I use on a daily. So that was another big reason. Now that we got that out the way, I do want to talk about some of the other stuff like the autofocus. Now let's talk about autofocus because you can't have an S5 iiX review without talking about the autofocus. Now, LUMIX has put out a new phase detection autofocus system. And I will say so far, I haven't had any issues with this camera. I haven't had any issues with the autofocus from this camera. It has been phenomenal. I haven't had any misfocus on my face or anything. Some people are having issues. I don't know what that is, but I don't know. I haven't had any issues with it. It has definitely nailed every time. It's done everything I needed to do, and it's just been great for me. And if you want to go, you can customize the settings, like you can change the speed, the sensitivity, and all that stuff. Right now, I just keep it at 0 because that's what's working for me. So I just keep it at that. So yeah, autofocus on this camera is phenomenal. Let's talk about IBIS, in-body image stabilization. Yo, coming from a Blackmagic, a cinema camera, I don't have any IBIS at all. I will say this is an absolute game changer. Now, is it replace your gimbal game changer? I don't know. But I would still recommend if you're doing long tracking shots and stuff, use a gimbal. But if you're doing short handheld stuff, then this is perfect. You have different modes, and I'm just gonna show some tests on the screen what those modes are and how they operate. This is everything off. Walking normal. Stabilization on, walking normal. This E stabilization on, walking normal. Then last one is boost, and this is more so if you want to fake that tripod look. And honestly, it's done a great job. What would you use this for? Say if you're somebody who shoot a lot of events like me, and we have to do a lot of running gun interviews, testimonials, and you hold handheld and it gets heavy. You take this camera, you just hold it and put on boost, and it's like you have a tripod, and you get those really stable shots when you're doing your interviews, and it just looks more pleasing to the eye. And the last thing I want to talk about is vlog. I absolutely love vlog. Vlog is so much fun to work with. I had more fun working with vlog than I did S-Log. I don't pretty much care for S-Log. I'm not trying to crap on Sony. I love Sony. Sony are great cameras, but I've never used vlog before, so this is the first time I've actually experienced with vlog, and I like it. And the cool thing about Panasonic is they give you the LUT, the free LUT. Maybe other companies do it too, I don't know. But they give you the conversion LUT, the Rec 709 conversion LUT on their website. And I will say, vlog is so much fun to play, to work with. It's so much fun to color grade. And it does great on skin tones. And even if you don't want to shoot log, the cool thing about this camera, and it's so dope because you get to shoot with LUTs in the camera, right? So I can actually use my real-time LUT, and I can put whatever LUT that I want and actually shoot with my LUTs in the camera. And I have a lot of LUTs that I made for myself for the Blackmagic, and I plan on making some LUTs for this camera, some custom LUTs for me for this camera. And it's cool that you can actually record with the LUT applied. You don't have to use those other standard picture profiles, and you can just use your own LUT. If you want to do that with other cameras that don't allow you to use LUTs in camera, you have to use a monitor. And sometimes you just don't want to use a monitor, but you can just get away with using something like this. So again, that is a huge game changer. And yeah, because coming from Blackmagic, I use my custom LUTs on my Blackmagic camera. So shooting with the LUT is huge for me. I don't shoot with the LUT baked in. You can shoot with the LUT baked in on this camera, but I shoot with the LUT just to get an idea of what my image is going to look like. And that helps a lot with exposure and a lot of other things. So if this video was helpful, y'all know what to do. Like and subscribe. Leave in the comments which camera you're using, which camera you're thinking about getting if you're trying to upgrade. Let me know if you are a LUMIX user, if you're an S5 II or S5iiX user, and let me know what you like and dislike about this camera. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Peace.